I think one more question on this topic. If it comes to, let's use that same case study, you were exposed to mold in college in your dorm room and you've had it in your system, but never really had any negative consequences. Let's just say somebody is living right now where, they have no idea whether or not they have mold in their system, but they just wanted to take preventative measures. What are some of the best like detoxification ways to maybe get that out of your system to ensure that down the road I don't have any negative consequences?
Or to maybe mitigate it. I would say there's certain I'm a big fan of probiotics. I know a lot of people are, why not just any, but Saccharomyces boulardii specifically is one strain of bacteria that is really helpful in combating things like yeast and mold. So if you wanted to spot treat, like maybe once a quarter, taking a probiotic that has a decent dose of Saccharomyces boulardii, that would be a really helpful thing to do for your system. Or you could do once a quarter, you could do a week or two of oregano oil therapy where you did oregano oil. Obviously, that's not an everyday thing. These are things that you would spot treat, and by spot treat, I mean like a week or two every few months, right? Sweating is helpful. I would say doing things like sauna and sweating can be really helpful for things like that, for just like improving lymphatic drainage, which is one of the main systems that we get things out of our body, right? But also from a nutritional perspective, prioritizing trying to do your best at eliminating simple sugars as much as possible. But if you are going to be having them, making sure that you have protein, fats, and fiber first. Because when your body is occupied eating proteins, fats, and fibers first, and then you consume like a piece of bread or dessert after that, it's much harder for your gut to uptake that glucose than it would be if you had it on an empty stomach. So just simply like getting into lifestyle habits where you are really good at proteins, fats, fiber first, and carbohydrates at the end. That simple trick will be super helpful in making sure that you don't have too much overgrowth of any of those bacteria.
Awesome. Great. 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 Well, I do want to transition to a little bit of the seasonal eating. I saw one of your latest Instagram posts was about best foods to eat during the autumn or during the fall. So why does seasonal eating matter?
Yeah. Well, our body works off of a circadian seasonal pattern, but believe it or not, even if you live in, Arizona or Palm Desert, your body is still working with the seasons. The thing that I love about this topic is that it's very comforting to me that the earth, the foods that grow during specific seasons of the year are actually the foods that our body needs to be well in that season based on, colds and flus and, what have you. So I do talk a lot about seasonal eating, and not just from that sense. Like when you focus on foods that are in season, your body is going to be getting so much more of the nutrients that it actually needs during that period of time, versus like having bananas or blueberries in the wintertime is not going to be as beneficial as having pomegranates and sweet potato in the wintertime, because our body needs more minerals. It needs more warmth and minerals to actually support the weather changes, the changes that are happening in our gut, and also the food the minerals that help to produce the neurotransmitters that help it ease that time. So like seasonal depression, for instance, we need more B vitamins to help support serotonin and dopamine production, which can be found in these root veggies and things like that. So seasonal eating and just knowing that the earth is already supplying you with the things that you need is really wonderful to think about. And I don't think a lot of people do, because you can go to the grocery store and get blueberries, bananas, and pistachios any time of the year, because that's just convenient and how our agricultural system works.
Yeah, so I've heard the circadian rhythm from the sense of like your 24-hour biological clock, in the sense of like the conversation of improving your sleep or whatnot. But is there like you said circadian, we have a circadian seasonal rhythm too. So like what is actually changing, I guess, about our circadian rhythm as we transition from one season to the next? I'm not sure if that's the exact way to word the question or not, but
Totally. Here's a good example. Here's one that will, in terms of what you know about circadian patterns within the 24 period. Our body does function best when we eat with the sun. So when we wake up, ideally around, between, 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning when the sun is up, we will be eating our first meal with when the sun is up, because that's when our cortisol level rises. It helps to mitigate, it helps to launch our metabolism. There's lots of reasons why we should be eating within the hour or two of waking up when the sun first comes up. It's also best to follow within a 24-hour period of time to stop eating when the sun goes down. Essentially, in a perfect system, that is when your body starts to, because when it gets dark outside, we start producing melatonin, we start suppressing digestive juices, so we're not actually going to be digesting our food as well when it is really dark outside. That's just how our bodies work. So if you think about that on a seasonal scale, for those people that are following circadian eating in a 24-hour period of time, winter times and autumn and winter we have shorter days. So we have to consider, okay, if we have digestive goals or health goals and we are really taking our digestive health to the next level, we might also need to recalibrate when we're eating our meals, because the sun's going down at 5:30, not at 8. So what does that look like from my 12-12 pattern within a day, or my 14-10 pattern within a day? Like, how can I make that work so that I'm actually eating with the sun and not impeding my ability to produce digestive juices optimally past a certain hour? Because that will impact the way that our body digests food, how we extrapolate nutrients from our food, and how we're like it impacts our sleep as well. So if we're eating too late at night, our body's already been sleeping technically for a couple hours, and we decide to have our heaviest meal at 8 p.m., in the middle of winter, you're probably you're going to wake up bloated and not feeling well, and maybe constipated and all these things so it kind of gives you answers as to what some of the symptoms that you're having too.
Yeah.
I think knowledge is power that way.
Great.